Hello, good afternoon. I am Suchit Sharma and I welcome all of you to Exam Booty's YouTube platform. Friends, this is the series of basic level concept in SSC CGL English classes in English. Friends, we discussed very important segment, word formation, and we discussed it thoroughly. We discussed all the matters, all the methods, and everything in it, step by step and in simple, lucid way to understand all the functions. Now, let's move to another topic and we will discuss this most important topic in English, but at basic level, because all the topic will be discussed in advanced level as well, and where we will study rules and uses. But here the focus will be on identification of a particular word in a sentence. Now the segment is parts of speech. Actually, what is the parts of speech? Let's discuss it, and then first of all we understand the importance of parts of speech, why a student should know parts of speech. Then we will begin the topic, and our topic will begin from noun. Everybody knows that. So before beginning the topic noun, let's know how parts of speech plays a very significant role in understanding English and solving the questions of English. First of all, what is the meaning of parts of speech? Actually, there are two important words in parts of speech: parts and speech. Speech, when we talk about speech, speech is a sentence spoken by a speaker. Whenever a speaker, it means any person. When you say that speaker, it means it may be any person who is speaking. Any person who speaks is a speaker. A person who speaks is a speaker. So when you speak, you are a speaker. And what you speak, that is your speech. And what do we find in your speech? We find sentences, words and sentences. Yes, in your speech there are sentence or there are sentences. There may be one sentence, there may be more than one sentence. So if there are more than one sentence, all the things that is known as a statement of a particular speaker, that is called a speech. So in simple word, we may say that speech means sentence. Just for a little time, just keep in your head this simple thing: speech is equal to sentence here. And now parts of sentence. When you take a sentence and you just see what is there, you will find that a sentence is a combination of a group of several words, many words, and the sentence gives you a meaningful sense. So you have in your mind the definition of sentence as well. A word or a group of words which makes a complete sense is called a sentence. Yes, that's right. It means when you find a sentence, there are words. That's right, there are words. So when you take a sentence and you do it parts, you just bifurcate it, you just divide it, what will you find? You will find several words. You may find one word, you may find more than one word. But that word used in the sentence you just bifurcated or divided each word in a sentence functions differently. That's what we studied in our previous few lectures. Each word functions differently. And that's what the work decides the name of a particular function. We all know that if a word is someone's name, we call it noun. If some word comes and replaces a noun, we know that it is a pronoun. When some word qualifies or tells some qualities or describing noun or pronoun, we all know that that is an adjective. When some word tells about an adjective, we all know that that is an adverb. So it is actually the function that defines something. It is actually the function that is going to have some name according to the function. The function decides the name. Whatever you do, your name is decided according to the work. That's what actually happens. And similarly, in parts of speech, each word in a sentence acts or functions differently. So parts of speech, it means kinds of word. You may say that kinds of word. And there are different kinds of words. If you say kinds of word, it is very easy to understand. Yes, there may be different types of words. And what type of words? According to the function in a sentence. It means when we say that function, it means grammatical function in a sentence. And when we just look into the sentence, we find that there are only 8 functions that a word can actually perform. There can be only 8 functions. There may be one more, but that depends on modern grammarian. We will discuss here the traditional grammarian, the old grammarian, because the competitive demand is not what the modern grammarian says at present, because the books and the authentic book we all studies, the concepts are based, the questions are depending on, the books are at least 60, 80, 90 years old. So what we are going to discuss here, that will be based on, purely based on the authentic grammarian, old grammarians concepts. And it actually demands, it actually says that there are 8 functions that a word can perform. So speech, when we say speech, it means sentence. And what is sentence? A group of words. We all know that it has some meaning. We know this. But speech is a sentence actually here, and sentence means group of words. It means what we find here are words and word function. And when we discuss the function of words, it can perform a different function. And that's what we call it parts of speech. Which we may call in for our understanding, for we can understand for ourselves, that is kinds of word. So when we say parts of speech, it is actually in simple word, kinds of word, and a word can function in 8 different ways. We all are aware of the fact that these are actually the 4 functions and these are the last 4 functions. It means all 8 functions. These are the 8 functions that a word performs. So, what we conclude from all the things that we discuss, speech in simple word is a sentence, and a sentence in simple word is a group of words. It means in a speech we find a sentence, and in a sentence we find group of words. It means we find words, each word performing different function in a sentence. So what type of function we see a word performing in a sentence? So we may call it, there can be 8 different function a word can perform in a sentence, and these are the 8 function that we all are aware of. We all know this. There are 8 functions of a word, and that's what we know from since the beginning of our understanding level. We all know that there are 8 parts of speech: noun, pronoun, adjective, adverb, verb, preposition, conjunction, and interjection. It means a word can be classified grammatically according to the function of a word in a sentence into 8 classified parts, into 8 categories. This is the word class, and we have 8 categories, we have 8 kinds. So I believe now you have a very clear picture that the function of a word in a sentence and its importance, its meaning in a sentence, how it functions and how it behaves. Unless you know the parts of speech of a particular word in a sentence, you are not going to understand its meaning. That's why parts of speech is very important. So let's move to another section of parts of speech where I just show you 1 or 2 examples where you will find that each word acts differently and how it is important for us to understand the meaning accordingly the parts of speech the word functions there. Let's see some example. Now you can see that I have written a sentence, and the sentence is, Hurrah! I passed in the exam, in the most difficult examination successfully. Now, if you just watch this sentence carefully, you will find that this word is interjection. This word is an adverb. This word is a pronoun. This word is a verb. This is a preposition. This is adjective. Superlative degree. This is noun. This is determiner. Actually, article. And articles are also considered in adjective, part of an adjective. So, what do you see here? You see that there are noun, there are pronoun, there may be adjective, adverb, preposition, conjunction, interjection. Only 8 functions can be possible there. Actually, I have written such a sentence that you can find, you can see all the 8 functions in just one sentence. There may be 1 or 2 functions. There may be 3 or 4 functions. There may be all the 8 functions in a sentence. There may be 1 or 2 nouns, more than 2 nouns. Yes, it is possible. There may be 1 or 2 or more than 1, 2, 3 preposition. There may be more conjunctions. It is not necessarily required for any beginner that he just put in his mind that there can be only one noun in a sentence, there can be only one pronoun in a sentence, there can be only one verb in a sentence, there can be only one preposition in a sentence, there can be only one conjunction in a sentence. No, there is no condition. It just depends on the need. It just depends on the requirement and the structure of the sentence. We can have as many nouns as possible as the requirement of the sentence, as the requirement of the structure of the sentence is. So there is no certain criteria that you have just make in your mind for yourself. If you have some notion about it, there are most of the time false notions that we are affected with. That's why we commit so many mistakes. So this is the most important thing of all. There can be as many nouns as possible. There may be as many pronouns as we actually require. There may be 1, 2, or 3 verbs. It just depends on the requirement, and it just depends on the need of the sentence. What type of the sentence we have been given. So what we conclude today, we just concluded that the most important thing is a word can be named according to the function it does in a sentence. So there are 8 functions that a word can perform. In a sentence, there are several words and each word can have different function. And if they perform differently, if they have different function, they have different names. And these names are in simple language called parts of speech that we are going to study. So this is the introduction class of the parts of speech that is over today. We will discuss one by one topic from Monday. From Monday, we will start noun, basic level noun. So just keep in mind, that's all for today. We will meet you on Monday. Remember that. Thank you. Thank you for watching this video. We will meet on Monday, same time. Till then, thank you.